Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, depending from where you are tuning in tonight. Here in America, maybe in the morning is going to be somewhere in America or in Europe or in Asia. And I am Ambassador Vernie Lawson, and how we affectionately call it, welcome to Mamlaka Broadcast Network. And then I would like again to reiterate what Mamlaka Broadcast Network is. Mamlaka Broadcast Network is a platform designed to broadcast kingdom news, kingdom teaching, kingdom messages, kingdom, only about the kingdom of God. And we provide our viewer with practical solution for the life's daily struggle. But most importantly, to bridge the gap of division within the ecclesia of Jesus Christ, contrasting the worldly fact with the kingdom truth is the original is our slogan. And today on this platform, we have a prominent and first-class kingdom ambassador, Ambassador Edelton Toledo, all the way from Brazil. He will be addressing this topic, overcoming crisis and resilience, part 2. If you have missed part 1, then I would like you please to go and watch it again. Our current world is in crisis, and no one can doubt about it, whether it's political, governmental, economical, sociological, health, family crisis. You can just name it. National crisis, individual crisis. How do you respond to crisis correctly? Those crises come to destroy you or strengthen you. To some, crisis is an opportunity to launch into the deep or the unknown, whereas to the other is sinking into the depression. How does one respond when crisis hits? What attitude do they have? Might be some few questions running in your mind today. And resilience, in the other hand, is understood as the ability to overcome crisis. Yes, resilience, it is both reactive and proactive dimension, respectively. Great leaders inspire people by their resilience and positivity in the face of adversity. Resilient people are aware of the situation, their own emotional reaction, and the behavior of those around them. By remaining aware, they can maintain control of a situation and think of a new way to tackle the problem. Now, allow me to introduce our guest this day, this evening, this morning, this afternoon, depending from where you are, from his condensed biography. Edelton Toledo is a businessman, a business administrator, and father of two wonderful sons, Gustavo and Gabriel. He started a small grocery store and turned it into a chain of supermarket with 15 stores and more than 210 employees. Edelton lost his wife in a tragic and horrible way in February 2008. He is a mentee of the international world-renowned leader, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. Edelton is an inspirational speaker, a business consultant, a business coach, a financial advisor. He is an intensive world traveler, over 45 countries to this day. He enjoys self-training and he led him to attend countless trade fairs around the globe. He has shared his testimony in more than 20 countries. His passion is loving God more than anything else in life. And next to that is coaching and helping people that are dealing with big losses. Now, tune your ears to the frequency to hear the tale from our guests and buy a share in this major business simply by being a media evangelist. Share this broadcast with many people. You don't know how much and how many people you are actually helping just by sharing that button. So sit back, put all your Bible, your notepad to take as much note as you can. You can also post your comment or your question on the comments box below, and so to give us more of what you expect from this broadcast today. So let me have the floor to our guest, Ambassador Edelton Toledo. The floor is yours.
Hi, Veronique. Hi, everybody. So thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you guys and share some of my experiences, what I have learned, and actually, gain from all the crisis that I went through. So nobody's gonna come to this earth and go away without, facing any crisis, right? As Dr. Miles Monroe would say, uh, crisis is like a season. It's seasonal. It's like the winter, the summer, the spring, and the fall. So we all have the summertime when everything is nice and relaxed, and then, but we know that the winter is gonna come. So again, thank you very much for having me. Well, this is the part two, so which is good. I think if we have the part two, maybe we did enjoy the part one. And if you didn't have a chance to, see the part one, so it was the first time that we share, a little bit of our own experience. That everybody has their story, and so that was I encourage you to, take a look. And I think there is a YouTube channel, so Malaka, that you can go on and watch the first episode that we were in. So again, Veronique, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure always to share with the kingdom people, right? So we are all kingdom citizens and ambassadors, as Miles Monroe would say. And so I had the privilege to be mentoring by Dr. Miles Monroe, to travel with him a couple of times. Actually, Veronique and I and Dr. Pepe Renat and some other people, we were in Israel together. I think it was 2012, I guess. So that was a great time. So again, so thank you for having me. So, and whatever you're watching us from any part of the world that you might be now, so stick around and stay with us to the end, because I know for sure by the end you're gonna be inspired, you're gonna be motivated, and you can get something that you can apply in your life, especially if you are in any type of crisis. As Veronique said, there is a lot of different crises, right? Could be relationship, could be financial, could be in your businesses, anything. So stick with us and stay tuned until the end.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you very much. So you could just continue, and since we're doing a part two, and then maybe you just want to add to what you left last time, or just try to kind of giving an overview of really what crisis is. And so the floor is yours again, as I said. And we're so privileged to have you, because you are not talking about something that you learn in a book. You live it. It's something that you live it, and you went through it, and it was difficult, but with the resilience that you have, that you try to build up, something positive out of something that was really, really negative. So I would really want you to address, how can people really overcome crisis, and what do they have, any force that is inside of them that will push them to really overcome? Oh,
Well, okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a little review from the last time, and some of you guys that don't know me, and well, my whole life wasn't easy, of course, as pretty much everybody else. But as a kid that grew up in a very small town, so the whole town that I grew up in was, the whole population was 1,800 people. So think about it, 1,800 people. That's all. So, and the let's say the opportunities in a small town like this is not. I mean, it's small. I mean, just the town itself, it's small. There was no plenty of jobs for everybody, and so that was a crisis right there, for job, for to grow and to prosper, and was that a bad thing? Was that a good thing? No. It was only the environment that I was born, and in order for me to grow, well, I had to face a lot of challenges, right? And being a poor kid in a small town, you do have to try to do something else. I mean, if you want to grow, because I had the passion and I have the motivation and I have the hunger. I think that's the word, the hunger to grow and to be somebody, who could do something else instead of just staying in that small town for the rest of my life. And another crisis that I faced was when I was 14 years old. My dad passed away because he was addicted to alcohol. He was an alcoholic. And so that was another crisis. I think that was the first big crisis, as a 14 years old, that I had to face. And again, I mean, crises come to make you stronger, right? It's all depend how you're gonna react to it. I mean, if you're gonna, lay back, stay down, and say, okay, that's what it is, blah blah. No, 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 no. Okay, there is the time. I mean, when something happened, like I lost my father today. Okay, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Cry, of course, and you need to go through the step that is like you cannot avoid to feel, sad, cry. But the point is, you cannot stay on that position forever. Okay, so we need to move on because of what happened. Life move on. You cannot just say, okay, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna get depressed. I'm gonna, oh, okay, what can I do tomorrow? No, no, okay. First of all, keep your faith, right? That's the first thing. God is gonna be on our side. He's gonna hold us back. He's gonna guide us through the crisis. That was the first one. So if the pain, I mean, you cannot stay in that pain status or stage forever. No, you got to move on. So the loss of my father was one thing. The other thing was we were very, very poor. Okay. The good thing about being poor is you don't have that much money. And my mother used to give us only what we need for that day. I mean, we didn't have that much. So we learned how to manage a small amount of money, or almost nothing. But that was like, well, the budget was so tight that you cannot spend anything more than, to afford some, I don't know, little things that you might want to get, but you don't have the money to do it. So what I learned as a kid and as a teenager is not to have that much money, and whatever you have, you need to manage right. And that's a good point. You know why? Because when you know how to manage the little, when God gives you the big amount, you already know how to handle that. So as a businessman, as a financial coach, the big problem that I see in people is this: when they have less money, if they make, like, let's say 40 to 50K a year, when they start making 100, and then they start spending money like crazy. No, you can spend a little bit more. Okay, you were so used to 50K a year, why now you want to spend 80? No, you can get a better lifestyle, but not the whole thing. So that helped me a lot, right? So to become what I did, talking about financially wise. So that was those two first crises that I faced when I was like a kid and a teenager. What was the bad thing about losing my dad? Well, there's the bad thing that the bad side of it is that you need that fatherhood to follow, but I didn't have that. But on the other side, I was like, I became more mature in a young age because I say, well, now my mom doesn't have, but my father is not here. So I came to the position that I say, okay, I need to do some change, some adjustments. And then I say, well, from now on, I'm going to be the man of this house, like, well, I'm going to take care of my mom, I'm going to work. And that's what I did. So remember, every crisis has two sides, right? Okay. You don't have much money, but you learn how to deal and manage the little. Well, I lost my father. What else can I do? I got to become a man. And much quicker than maybe if I had him around for more time. So every crisis teaches us something different. Everyone, right? So I just showed you two examples now, right? When I didn't have much money and when my dad passed away. So making the decision to, have a better life, that really pushed me to save some money, put some money aside, because my dream was to get a better life, could buy a car, a house, and get married. And I think that's pretty much everybody's. But and then I started dating my wife when she was 14 and I was 16 years old. But I could not get married. How am I going to get married if I don't have money? Not even to rent in a small house back then. So it took me 9 years to put some money aside. And then I went to the United States Embassy in Sao Paulo. And I said, well, I'm going to try a visa. And then I'm going to go to the United States to work. I was like 20 something years old. So I went and I got the visa. And back then I went to the United States and I worked for 4 years. I put some money aside. I got some good amount of money. That's when I went back. I came back to my country and opened a small grocery store. That was the year of 2000. Okay, so there was a small grocery store, my wife and I, and 4 employees. That was, again, the year of 2000. So a poor guy saved some money, tried to get a visa, and it was hard to get a visa. I'm telling you. I mean, it's still to get a visa to the US, but back then it was even harder. So what I had to do was save the money, apply for the visa, and show up for the interview. As a poor guy, I would say, oh my goodness, the rest is a miracle. Okay, so I did what I have to do. What did I have to do? Save the money, apply, and go to see, whatever the embassy officer was to try to get a visa. Did I get it? Yes. How? I don't know. But I did what I was supposed to do. Some people, they don't do what they have to do. They think that an angel is going to come down here and put some money aside for you. No, that's not going to happen. Yeah. If I don't go and get my passport, if I don't apply, if I don't show up for the interview, you think that the visa is going to come? No, during the night, an angel is going to come. It's going to stamp on my passport. No, this is not how it works. You have to do what you have to do. I don't know, whatever you listen to us right now from whatever part of the world you are. I mean, there's something that you want to do that's like it's in your heart, right? And you want to do it. Well, You got to start move on. I mean, 2020 just got started. It's January still. You still can do it. But again, do what you have to do. And God will work and make all the connections, and it's going to make it work for you. So with that said, we open up at this grocery store, which turned on, as Veronique said, to over 200 employees. The revenue the last time was over 100 million US dollar per year. Think about it. And we start as a small grocery store. Okay. Why am I saying numbers? That's what I do. I mean, I do with numbers. And then in 2008, when the business was going like this, an employee of my company went to rob my wife in front of my house, and a gun went off, and she passed away. Okay, so why am I saying this? That was the biggest crisis I ever faced in my life. Okay, that was my first girlfriend, the mother of my two boys, and we built this whole thing together. So when that happens, was time to cry? Yes. Is it a hard time? Yes, it is. Just to talk about it, it's already kept me emotional. And the good thing is the pain, the suffer, it took place for about 2 years. Yeah, kind of like 2 years. There was I mean, I don't know if I can even describe how much the pain was and all that, everything that I went through. But this is not the thing that I want to focus on. I want to focus on it's what happened later, after that. Okay. So did I have to make some change? Absolutely. Whenever crisis comes, be open to make changes. Okay? Nothing is going to be the same in your life after any crisis. If it's a financial crisis, believe me, God want to teach you something, but again, you got to open your eyes, open your ears to hear what God wants to say, and be open to make change. So I had two young boys, 5 years old and 7 years old back then when that happened. So I had to make a lot of decisions, and my life changed. I mean, like this. It changed for the better or for the worse. I don't know. What do you mean? Something could be good, people accept things differently, but you need to look at whatever crisis you're going through right now as, first of all, God wants to teach you something out of that. God wants to change something. Maybe you got fired from your job today. Hey, okay, you can be upset, you can be sad, but there is a better door somewhere that God already has prepared for you, believe me. Okay? If your business is not going well right now, first thing that you have to do, look and see what needs to be changed. Because when God allows a crisis to come, because he wants to do changes. Sometimes you got to close that business, maybe, because it's not profitable anymore. I mean, I don't know what you're going through. But whatever that is, and if the Christ came is for you to make some changes. Okay, did I have to change? You think about it. A single dad now with two boys. Do you think that I had to make some changes, some adjustments? Of course, absolutely. Right? So how do you overcome? So the word overcome, it's a big one, right? It's a big word. So to overcome a crisis, first of all, faith. Okay. If you were in a church, if you had a good relationship with God, so now it's time to even straighten that relationship even more, because that's what you're going to need, you know. And if you have kids, even better. You know why? Because something that motivates me every single day back then, when that happened, I was like, when I look at my two boys, I was like, oh my God, those two kids, they need me. They don't have anything else. So I better get out of the house, go to work, and do something, because that's what it is. They need me, so I got to help them. And whatever you going right now in any crisis, be ready to change. And please don't, how do I say this so people would say, yeah, don't get alone by yourself. Like, if you're going to church, go to church. If you used to go to work, go to work. If you have your own business, go do something. If you have to show up, because if you're stuck in the house, if you're stuck in your bedroom, this is not good. This is not going to help you. One thing that we did was we did find a great psychologist. So we did, therapy for about a year and a half or two, and they helped us very much. And I even remember what that lady said back then when my boys and I, so all of us were, going to therapy every week. So that was, the boys used to go every week, and I used to go every other week. And I remember one day she asked me a question, and she said, "Sir, what do you want to be for those two boys? Do you want to be a father or a friend?" And I quickly give her an answer. I said, "Of course, I want to be a father, because I have to be a father." And then she said, "Have you ever thought about being the father, but being their best friends, especially back then when they needed me?" So, and then at that time, I decided to, not just be a dad, but be a friend. And that was good, because I stopped working a little bit and I gave them more time. So again, every crisis is going to require you to change. And as Dr. Miles Monroe would say, if you are in a crisis and you do not learn the lesson, or you are in middle of the crisis and you stay there for long, if the crisis is still going on and on and on and on and on, you got to ask one question. You know what the question is? What do you have to change that you haven't changed it yet? Maybe the crisis go longer is because you are not learning the lesson, or you don't have your eyes open or your ear open and say what's going on, because this crisis is going so long. And that's, is God telling you, come on, I'm teaching you, but you're not willing to learn. So as of right now, if something's going on in your life right now, and you're not paying the attention that you have to, or that this crisis is teaching you, so I encourage you to sit back, or tonight when you go to bed, or tomorrow, whatever your time is when you listen to us, just, do some reflection. Think about it. Say, what do I need to change? Because that happens to me. And I'm glad that I did, of course, throughout my whole life and all the crises, and I had to do changes. And as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, I mean, it doesn't take me that much to start moving in a different direction. So again, you need to find what it is. If it's a financial crisis, okay, why you are in that financial crisis. I mean, are you spending more than your outcome is more than your income? Of course, that math doesn't work, right? If it's a relationship problem, maybe you need to do some adjustment to any crisis need change and adjustment. So what else could I say about the big crisis that I face? I need to learn how to be a single dad. Okay. Still, I had a business that I was depending on me back then, and yes, I went to work every single day. I never give up a day. Church, oh my goodness. In that time, I used to go to church, oh my goodness, 2, 3 times a week. Yeah, a week. And I remember coming to church and lay down on the next chair in front of me and kind of crying the whole service. But that didn't last forever, right? So that's what the word resilience comes to place, right? Because the resilience person is the one who would go through the bad things or the hard situation, but is going to get out of there. And every time that you come out of any crisis, again, you're going to come much, much stronger. Hope you guys getting something out of this. And I don't know what else Veronique wants me to say.
Wow. Thank you very much already for all that you share. You add another pillar to that which you shared last time on session 1. So I'm trusting that people who are going to watch or who are actually watching now, like Lucia. I saw Lucia, I don't know from where she's watching us from. The name seems Brazilian. Maybe she's watching out from Brazil. I want to get more for on this part too. And then it's so beautiful. I just wanted to say thank you very much for adding even and insisting in terms of say that every crisis had two sides. Two side. Wow. And notice that we have to do. We are the one when crisis hit, we have to do something. We could not just be sitting here and thinking that okay, some miracle are going to fall down from heaven without we getting ourselves involved. As just you say, every miracle requires a human participation. So that is adding more and giving people, even us, understanding or let's say better understanding in how to overcome crisis and how to really be resilient. Because as you say, crisis is seasonal. It's not something that is going to be forever. So for us, it will depend for each person whether that season will be shortened or whether that season will be lengthened depending on how we respond. Correct? So I'm trusting that people are getting how you call it, the meat of really how to tackle crisis and how to be resilient and how to overcome it, and actually how to live knowing that next crisis when it comes, I have learned this lesson from this one, so maybe this lesson I could apply to the next crisis, or I could just get myself prepared for the next crisis that's going to come. That's great. Thank you very much, Ambassador Edward Toledo. Wow. I don't know whether you want to add something before we move into our session of question and answer. I know that you are busy and then you have to maybe leave soon. So if you don't have much to add to it, then we will just roll out the question and answer to you.
Yeah, well, the other thing that before we get to the questions is some practical, because it's easy for anybody to say you can do this or you do that. But what I want to encourage people is when, again, the loss of my wife and the way it was, right? We kissed in front of the supermarket. It was like 6 or 7 p.m. And then she went home with the driver. And the next time that I saw her, she was at the hospital, laid down in the bed, and she passed away. Okay. So it's 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 easy to tell people what to do, but it's hard to do it. What I'm saying is, I had to do something. I had no option. Okay, there was no other option. It was like I gotta do something. Oh, of course, there was another option. You know what the option was? To get depressed, to not do anything, to give up, to lose my faith, to blame God, to blame whatever. I could have said that. That was another option. Yeah, there was. And there is a lot of people now who are listening to us and are out there giving up, committing a suicide or something just because life it was hard on them. So before we end this, I want to leave a word for you. Okay. I know it's tough. I got a phone call the other day from a pastor, and he wants me to talk to a man, a 43 years old man, who lost his wife when she was giving birth to a baby. They had two kids, and the third kid came in. It's a healthy boy, and she passed away. Okay, so is he on a crisis? Oh, yes, absolutely. So I got him on the phone, and I kept, calling him every other week as this pastor asked me to do so. Uh, he had the option to give up as well, right? And I said, no. Uh, you know, can somebody help you? Can your mom help you? Can somebody help you with the kids? Can a babysitter help you? I mean, keep doing what you got to do. Go to work. I mean, go to the therapy, get a psychologist, and everything that I did. So he did pretty much the same thing. You know what happened? This phone call, it was like 2 or 3 years ago. He said, well, I'm going to remarried, and he finds some, another lady at the church, and life moved on. So the last thing before we go is, do not get stuck where you are. Whatever the crisis you are now, I don't know, it's financial, relationship, or business, or job that you lost, I don't know. You need to take action. Don't go lay down on your bed, in your sofa, in your couch, and no. Please do something. Okay? Get out there. Take action. If you need help, call for help. Okay? If you need my help, Veronique can share my information at the end. I mean, if you need my help, I can help you. If you need a word, if you need anything. Because again, we're just not gonna throw on people what they have to do. We gotta help them. A lot of people helped me. Yeah. When I was down. Yeah. God sent a lot of people to help me. And as right now, again, if you need my help, don't hesitate. Let me know. Okay. And, be strong, be faithful, and take actions. Don't give up. Winter could be snow, could be, 10 degrees or whatever. But when the summer comes, and the summer will come, and it's just, take some actions and wait. Be faithful, be strong.
Wow. Beautiful. I love that. Wow. It is easy to tell people what to do when people are going through a crisis, but when we turn the finger back to self, it's sometimes very difficult. And I love the recommendation that you gave for anyone out there who is going through what type of crisis, whether it be relational, whether it be personal, financial, what type of crisis. You have to remember two things. Crisis is seasonal. And know that winter may be so strong, but summer is always beautiful. you need to take action.
Take action.
Cry for help as you can. Cry for help. Don't isolate yourself, because when you isolate yourself, is you're going to get very, very much into depression, very down into depression. So try to call or find someone to talk to. If you have a community, just go to the community. If not, then tune into Mamlaka Broadcast Network, and
There
then we
you go.
to contact with Ambassador Edelton Toledo, who is a specialist in terms of know how to help you overcome the type of crisis that you are in. So, let's say we're gonna now turn it into the question and answer, and then we're gonna be finding the first one popping in on the screen right there. Is that it says, I often heard that crises are nothing than opportunity for us to grab hold of them. When or what was the trigger, your trigger? So when or what was your trigger that made you understand the crisis you were facing and that turned it into an opportunity?
Yeah, well, the first one was that. Well, let me bring back when I had no money, okay, and I want to have a better life and get a better life for me, for my wife, and for my kids. Okay, that was a crisis of less or even almost nothing uh, financially. So that was an opportunity for me to do what? To do what I had to do: save some money, try to get a visa, and go to another country to put some money together, and then come back and open my own businesses. So what was the trigger? It was like, okay, I want a better life. I got to do something. Otherwise, I have the same friends in that small town until today. They they are there doing the same thing, playing cards, playing dominoes. It's a choice. When I looked them on Facebook, I was like, my goodness, man, those people, they're doing the same thing until today. And they post on Facebook, and I was like, oh God, thank you. Thank you for the hunger, for the to go out and do something different, So whenever crisis are you going right now, try to look, step back and look from a different perspective and say, well, what can I do to change the situation? Even a loss of, I would say, the loss of my father, then it gave me the opportunity to become a man quickly, right? Yeah, to say, well, I got to be the household of this house because I got to help my mom, but that was another thing. Even the loss of my wife, right? Well, I got to be a better father. I got to see how do I have to do it. So I started reading books on fatherhood. I was like, oh my God, what do I have to do? So I started learning, listening, reading, and develop my mindset. So that's it. So every crisis is an opportunity. I know we might not like the crisis because sometimes it's really hard. It hurts, right? But you know what? You can be a better person. I could be, listen, better father to my kids. Could be so I save some money in order to grow financially, and I start helping my mom as I was a big man. Whatever you're going through right now, no worries. Sit back, look, think, and see what you can do to make this better.
Beautiful, beautiful answer, beautiful answer. Wow, wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador Edelton Toledo. I don't know what people are going through, but that really will try to pull them out of their kind of isolation zone or comfort zone and begin to use the brain.
That's it.
Crisis will not affect your brain. The brain can go slow to a slow mode or a sleeping mode, but all the neurons are still functioning correctly as God
There
created
you go.
it to be. So use the brain and trying to do something. Thank you very much. So the second question is going to be popping on the screen. Say, looking back at your life's challenges, and I'm pretty sure you really name them all today. The crisis of your father, the crisis of your environment, your upbringing, your neighborhood, and would you have changed anything at the way you reacted to them?
Well, would I change anything the way I react to them? Well, I don't think so. I mean, I think I mean in my those three big crises that I did face. When I look back, I don't think I would. I mean, first of all, I think I should thank God. I mean, thank you, Lord, for helping me in when I was in that, all of them and those bad situations. But when I look back and now I can say that very easily because I've seen the results, right? So when I look at the results and I say, well, you know what? I mean, I struggle a little bit here and there, but I don't think I would change anything. I think, I mean, because everything is a lesson, right? I mean, you just learn from your mistakes, and then you move on as a very mature and wise person. I don't think I would change anything.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I think that you actually respond to all the situation perfectly. And as you say, you have a heart of gratitude towards God because He allows you to see it in the correct way and respond it in the correct way. So that is really hands how you call it, thumbs up, thumbs up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we learn, so we learn a lot from
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you went through, and then it will actually cause the people to better understand. If I'm going through something like this, oh, I know somebody who went through that the same situation. So how did this person respond? And
Yeah.
that give a way to somebody to rise up in such a way. Thank you very much again. And the next question is going to be popping on the screen. It said that in a crisis, have you ever hid or hide yourself behind anything or anyone, anybody else?
That question means if I
Hide,
rely.
hiding yourself behind something, maybe like a facade or anything else or anybody else.
Well, I did have help, right? Especially my mom was the one who really helped me a lot. I mean, I cannot say that you don't need help. Yes, you do. And if you have somebody that you can trust, uh, call for help. Yeah. Did I, was I hidden behind something? Uh, well, those first 2 to 3 months, I really didn't want to see that much people. Besides, I'll go to the church and be what I got and go home. And besides my mom, because my mom, she came to live with us for a while. I know at the first moment, like 1, 2, 3 or 4 months, maybe anybody that's listened to us might say, I'm that stage now, but don't stay there forever. But I don't think I did. No, I mean, I did call for help, and I rely on God. I mean, that's for sure, right? So I say, well, God, I mean, somehow I could say you allowed this to happen, so you better stick with me now and help me through. Like when Peter was going down to the water, and Jesus say, "Okay, man, I gotta, yeah." So if you are in God's hand, you are in the best hand in the world. You still need people, but God is by your side, and get hold of your faith and God by your side. You'll be good.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful, really.
Yeah.
Like, you really hang on God, and
Yeah.
you understood that nothing has just happened to your life or in your life just hazardous. The word that you use there is that if God allowed it, so therefore He's going
There
to
you go. Yeah. If He allow it,
that
He'll fix it.
Exactly, because many a time we are in crisis, we totally forget that God allows the crisis. We think, okay, it's just maybe the devil had too much power, whatever. No, God allows it. That is the
Yeah.
word. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much for the answer. Wow, wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
next question is going to pop in on the screen. It says, there is a saying that goes, been there, done that. What next?
What
Does a
was that again?
person need does a person need crisis to develop character, or can a person achieve it without it? Are crisis and character intrinsically linked?
Well, if they are linked, okay. So whenever you are in a crisis, I think the crisis it does shape your character, if I could say that. Let's say uh, the person is at the job and somebody says, "Hey, if you do this thing wrong, I'll give you $100,000," by an example. So that person is now in a crisis, right? It's kind of because you say, "Oh my goodness, I want $100,000 cash right now," but in order for me to do that, I got to do this thing wrong, which is against my principles, and so that the character now will it must be stronger and say, "No, I cannot do this." Okay, agora, does the Christ build your character? In my opinion, well, I would say he does. He does help, you to, get in shape, or get the shape that you believe, like that, like Dr. Miles Monroe would say about the Statue of Liberty, right? He said that that's the one of the that's for me, it's the nicest analogy about a character of a person, because as of right now, you don't need to be in New York City to know the Statue of the Liberty has a torch in her hand and a book in her left hand and a crown on her head, right? So uh, but when they built that, they was doing the character, right? And so yeah, crisis will help you, but crisis will also show your character, the really one, not the one that people fake, right? So when the crisis comes and they say, oh, okay, yes, this person really has that, like, strong character, or not like Samson, right? So Joseph has a very strong character, but Samson did not. So, but when the time came for him to be on proof, like, let's see if this guy is gonna be, so he failed. So the crisis I think the crisis will show your real character. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And then thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, that's true, really. The crisis actually shape your character, and crisis also will show
Oh,
your real character. And then I don't know whether you touch on that one, which say that how can a person achieve character without crisis? Do you think that can a person achieve character without crisis?
well, what I think is, most of my character, I can say about me, most of my character, my principles, your character is what? Your principles, your values, things that you don't change for money or for anything else. You're not going to commit an adultery uh, just because they give you money, or you're not going to do this or that, or the politicians, if they are on the corruption. And I think I'm sorry,
Oops.
most of my character, I think my mom was the one who helped me with those. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because she taught me things that is still with me for until now. And I would say I would keep them forever. When I say this, is most of what I am that shaped me. Everything that was shaping me was when I was so young, like a kid or a teenager. A part of my character today, it doesn't depend that much on the crisis that I went through. I don't know if that explains a little bit your question. Uh, of course, when you are exposed to something, and then you're going to review your character right there. But you already have that principle uh, in your system and in your principles, in your values. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's thank you. I see actually what you were saying, and that is very clear because character actually will help you face better the crisis, if I may even put it
There
that way.
you go.
You
Yeah.
get a if you have a built-in right principle, you have a built-in conviction that no matter what's happening in your life, there is certain thing that you will not violate. So, actually, crisis come to test your character. As Dr. Moro, I think in one of the leadership, he said, I say,
Test.
crisis will come to test your character. And he uses Samson and Joseph.
Yeah.
So the one who didn't have who lacked character, and Joseph has character, and Samson he built all the muscles, but he didn't have character.
There
So the
you.
crisis he couldn't pass the test because crisis at the end is like a test.
You got it.
Thank you, thank you. It goes my you as you were talking, it brought my memory back to that leadership conference. Thank you very much. So we're gonna move to our other question. I think is that how can we let people know that crisis isn't totally a bad thing?
Yeah, well, I think we did talk a little bit about that
Yeah,
when I say all those three big crises that I went through. Right, it's not totally a bad thing, right? Just because I was a poor kid, it's not a bad thing. You know, I could work, I could do something else, and make it better. Not just because I lost my father in my life, it's a bad life. No, even though when I lost my wife, I mean, we're still here, right? We're still going, working, and do some improvements, and life went on. So, I mean, for me, definitely, crisis is not a bad thing. Not. I know you could say you're listening to this right now, and then you could say, "Oh, Adulton Toledo, you don't know what I'm going through right now. My life is a hell," or blah blah blah. That's what you're talking about. Well, it's temporary. I know. I hear you. I'm with you. But you think it's bad, and it seems bad now if you're going through it right now. But a year from now, and 2 years from now, you'll see, no, that's not.
great. Thank you. Exactly. Perfect. Beautifully. Thank you very much. And next, I think we have two more questions. The next one is going to be: can good advice help people to overcome crisis? Can good advices help
Yeah,
people?
well, this question, I know the time is a little bit tight, but this one I want to focus on that a little bit. Okay, this is a very, very good question. Can good advices help people overcome crisis? Yes, it does. However, you need to pay a very close attention, okay? There is a huge difference between an advice and an opinion. I'm going to say it again. It's a big difference between an advice and an opinion. An opinion, everybody has one to give it to you, even though you didn't ask for. Everyone. Everyone wants you giving out a finger and say, "Oh, you should do this, you're gonna have that, your hair is not good, or your outfit, or whatever." So everybody has an opinion. Again, even though you are not asking for any. However, an advice has to come from a person who went through whatever you're going through right now. And I'll explain. Okay? When my wife passed away right there, you know what the first thing that came to my mind, I cannot run this business anymore. I'm going to sell this business, or I'm going to get a partner, or I'm going to have somebody helping me. You know what I did? I did look for an advice, but you know who the person was? Was an old man. His name is Gilberto. He was like 65 years old. He was the biggest gas station chain in my city. He had, I don't know how many, but a gas station all over the place. A big, huge farm with a lot of cows and all that. So, millionaire, a multi-millionaire guy and businessman. So I was looking for business advice. Cool. So I went to the right person, right? I need a business advice. I'm looking for a businessman, a well succeed businessman, not any businessman, a businessman who proved to everybody that he knows what he was doing. He gave him a great advice. Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful God for the video for his life. He gave me the advice that I needed in that particular moment. So 5 years later, I went to get another advice from him. I was dating a girl, and I don't know, should I marry this girl or not, or this lady, or whatever that person was back then. And then he gave me an advice. He said, hey, you know what you have to do? You came here and you asked for my advice for your business. So it's 5 years later, your business is going well. You keep growing and blah, blah, blah. He said, you know what you should do? You rent an apartment. You put this lady or this woman, this girl in that apartment, and you're going to live together without getting married for about 2 years. And then you see if you like her. If you're not, after 2 years, you make the decision to marry her or not. The same guy who gave me the best advice that I needed for the business side, I thought because he gave me the business advice, he was qualified to give me a relationship advice, but he wasn't. So from that, I learned a big lesson. In order for you to get an advice for a relationship back then, I should have find a couple who was married for like 20, 30, 40 years, so had a lot of kids. He was a Christian. And he wasn't Christian. Okay, but he was a businessman and he knew what he was doing about business, right? So I love this question. Can a good advice help you overcome crisis? Yes, if it comes from the right person. If you have a financial problem, go get an advice with the financial who knows about that. If you have a business problem, yes, same thing. If you have a relationship or marriage problem, go find a specialist, not anybody. Okay? Even your pastors, okay? We are putting pastors in a very bad situation. You know what? You have a business problem, your business is not doing well, you're not making as much profit as you want because you're not doing the right thing, and then you're going to ask your pastor, does your pastor knows anything about business? Really? You're putting the guy in a bad situation. I know. I hope I did answer your question.
Wow. I'm in awe. That
Yeah.
perfect answer. If you have a relationship crisis, don't go to find a business person to give you an advice. If you have a business crisis, don't go find a pastor to.
Yeah. The poor pastor.
Love it.
Yeah, the poor pastor doesn't know anything about business, and you asking him for profitability. He said, "What? The only thing that he can do, he can pray for you. He can pray for your business." But you know what? I mean, we put the pastor in a bad situation. It's the same thing. Hey, mom, I want to open a grocery store. Well, I don't know. She said, okay, my son, what does she know about business? You know?
That is perfect answer. I just say, what? I mean, now really we have to understand this. People sometimes they put themselves in certain situation and where the advice is not necessary from the right person, and
Yeah.
therefore it will not work.
No. So that, I mean, let's stay here for one more minute. So that time when I left that gentleman's office, remember, it was the same gentleman who gave me the thing that saved my business 5 years ago. And then he's giving me a totally different thing. And then that day I say, you know what? There is a huge difference between an advice and opinion. Because you know what? Listen to me. If you need a specific advice from somebody, please find someone who already proven he has proven that he has done that best than anybody. He's in the position that you want to be one day. That's the person that you should look for. Okay, so if I need an advice on global ministry to impact the whole world, sure, I can talk to Dr. Miles Monroe if he was here, because he did, right?
Correct.
Okay, but let's say if we need an advice to send a rocket to Mars or to the moon, I don't think Dr. Miles Monroe knows anything about that. He might know a little bit. We will put the guy on a bad situation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The doctor might say, "Hey man, what do I know about rockets? I mean, what do I know about moon? I have never been Mars." You know, I'm just bringing this up to you as anybody is listening to us. So you got the point. The point is, whenever you need an advice, whenever crisis you're going through, find somebody who has done or is in the position where you want to be.
Exactly. Beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, just that's a simple, beautiful, and clear.
Yeah.
Clear.
Clear.
There will not be any type of confusion, because sometimes we go to the wrong people and we get the wrong advice. And then after we say, oh no, but this person gave me the advice, but was it the right person to go to?
That's right. You see, they are not bad people. They're good people. They might love you if they are related to you. It's just because this is not their expertise. And we, as the one who's asking for the advice, we are the one who are putting them on a bad situation.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
exactly. Wow. I just love it. We don't go find a business advice for a pastor. He's going to pray for us.
Yeah. Come on. Leave the guy alone, you know?
And that's why many believers are doing. And then they end up not, and they end up having the pastor to be like a burnout, because he's trying to help with a capacity that he's not even fitting in it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Dr. Miles Monroe, we could ask him for some business advice because he was a businessman.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But,
oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. We park here for some time for a reason.
That's right. That's
so
right.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. Wow. I'm so in awe for that answer. My goodness. Oh my goodness, that's so beautiful. So our final question is going to be popping on the screen. What are some of the immediate steps to take against this current crisis, either spiritually, physically, or financially?
Well, the immediately step that you have to take is, as we mentioned, is take action. What kind of action? Okay. Learn. Whatever situation, whatever crisis you're going through right now, if it's financial, okay, go get some information, hire a consultant, or you got to do something in that specific area. Dr. Miles Monroe would say this, all right, whatever crisis you're going right now, it's because you did not read that book back then, right? He would say that book or that seminar that you didn't attend or that workshop or whatever that was, because it's a lack of knowledge. I'm going to say it again. Most of the crisis that we go through is a lack of a knowledge on that particular subject, right? It's a relationship. Okay, how many books you read? You know the book called the Five Language of Love, or the Law of Five Language. I don't know.
Yes,
So
five languages of love.
Five Language of Love, right?
Of
So
love.
I read that book a couple of times when I was married, right? To know what is your spouse language, right? If it's a touch or if it's a communication, or it's a work of service. I mean, whoever read that book, if your marriage is in crisis, it's a good book for you to read, right? Whatever crisis that might be, I mean, there is a good book or a good seminar or a podcast that you can learn, and then you can start changing. Okay, well, immediately what you can do, look for help, uh, get knowledge. What did I do? You know how many books did I read on raising? There is a book called Raising that has two boys in the cover of the book. Well, I know the title in Portuguese. I don't know in English. Raising Boys. Okay, that book talks everything about raising boys. Okay, it talks about testosterone. When the kid gets the most, testosterone in her body, it's on the 12 years old, and then and that make that boy be, active, going in and out. So I start reading books. Why? Because I had that situation that I have to deal with, right? So whatever you are going or whatever you're facing right now, whatever the crisis might be, what you need to do, you need to learn, right? How do I get out of here? Right? I don't want to stay here forever. I want to get out of here. So how do you do it? Look for help, and you need to get knowledge. I mean, you need to get information, and that information become wisdom, and then you apply that, and then you get out of there, right? It's the same thing. If you drive an automatic car, you just know how to drive an automatic car, right? But and then you never drove a manual, but you're in the middle of the desert or whatever you are. I mean, in the bed, and then there's a stick car that you need. So what do you have to do? You got to learn how. Well, I need to get out of here. Otherwise I'm gonna die, or without food or without water. But you have something. What you need to do? You need knowledge. You need to learn how to do that thing, and then it will save you. It's the same thing if you're going to a crisis right now. Whatever the crisis might be, even there are some crises that we create those, and there are some that just come, right? Because there are crises that we made a bad decision. God has nothing to do with that, some of those. We made the bad decision. We took the wrong road, maybe for the lack of knowledge or anything, but but we need to get out of there anyway. So the only way to get out of there is to get knowledge, So what you could do immediately to, especially, if it's spiritual or physical or financial, any type of crisis, right? Physically, right? Okay. You're not happy with your weight. You think that you need to lose some weight. Okay. Go get a knowledge, go get a personal trainer or whatever that is, and then go do something. It's the same thing. It's applied to anything in our lives. No matter what type of crisis it is, we need to get knowledge. We need to get help. Stay with God, and take action.
I love that. Take action. No matter the type of crisis you are in, take action. Be responsible.
Yeah.
Move.
Move on.
Don't stay because it's only seasonal.
Yeah,
It's
and
not forever.
stop blaming people. There are some people, when they play the victim, right? They blame whatever, the spouse or the co-worker. Some people blame God, right? Oh, God, I mean, where are you? Where were you when that happened? Blah blah blah. Stop blaming people. Take action, move on, and God's going to be with you, and that's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. What a great end. What a great end for overcoming crisis and resilience part 2. Take action, move on, and God is going to be with you. He's just waiting upon you to rise up, take action, and then he will see you through. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. That is all what we have for you today. Thank you very much, Ambassador Elton Toledo, for coming again for another edition with Mamlaka Brokers Network, Overcoming Crisis and Resilience, Resilience Part 2. Wow, what a year.
All
And
right. Hey, Veronique, thank you very much again for having me. It was a pleasure to be with you and all your audience all over the world. And, again, let's have a beautiful, wonderful 2022. Hope everything will work good for you, whatever you're going through right now. I mean, by the mid of this year, I know things will change. And, be faithful, be strong, be happy, and happy 2022 for everybody. God bless you all.
And thank you on behalf of Mamlaka Brokers Network. We just wanted to say thank you for tuning in today for another edition with Mamlaka Brokers Network. And as you hear perfectly from our guest, Ambassador Elton Toledo, he finally put it perfectly. What we want you to do now, please remember to share this broadcast and follow us on the various channels that we have on Rumble, on BitChute, on Instagram, on Twitter. You could also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you could also subscribe to our Podbean channel. And therefore, you will find us on Facebook. We are Facebook Live. We are YouTube Live. We also go on Twitter. And don't forget to just click the bell and the notification. Thank you very much for all of you who tuned in tonight. I saw my husband was say hi, honey, there. I saw also Lucia. Lucia, I don't know where are you from. Please, if you could tell us where are you from. I saw beautiful Queen Victoria all the way from Spain, and I saw some other people, but I couldn't even know what their names. So please, thank you for tuning in and for continuing supporting this broadcast, Mamlaka Network. That is the name, Mamlaka Broadcast Network. It all the privilege to God and for you, our audience. Thank you very much. May God bless you. And until we see you next time, let us see all in the air where the eagle eye. Bye.